Hey guys, we're here with Monsters of Todd, Jimmy Looney, our president, and Matt Joyce, and our very special guest, Terri Burrows, which was Todd Mills' aunt. Thank you for coming, Terri. Just say hi real quick. And,
Hi.
and we're going to get this thing rocking right now. We're going to just get it rolling. And what you guys want to hear about is the show, Monsters of Todd. And then, we're going to talk to Terri a little bit and just figure out what kind of stories go on and kind of share a little bit about Todd. And thanks for coming in. We hope to see you there March 1st. Make sure you get your tickets. And
Doors open at 6. Music starts at 7.
okay, so the show starts at 7, so 6 o'clock. You get in there and get you a seat because it's a limited space for seating, and but there's plenty of places to stand. And this is going to be the event you want to be at. So get your tickets now, March 1st at the Rev Room for Monsters of Todd 10, ladies and gentlemen. So we know that you know Todd probably better than anyone.
Yes,
That's nobody ever made me laugh harder than that guy. So
I know.
yeah,
He was a jokester and a prankster. I'm telling you, he was just always pulling pranks on people.
there.
Yeah, you can relate, can't you? But no, he was my oldest brother's son, and so we were only 10 years apart. So
Yeah.
we were pretty close. And he was such an easygoing guy, just easy to be around because everybody liked him. I don't think he had an enemy in the world.
He just lit up a room.
Yeah.
He was, and he was so good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Whatever he did, he was good at it. Seemed like it. One of the things I can remember is when breakdancing was really big. He could break dance like you had never seen anybody break dance, and he could pop and lock.
I remember all of this.
And yeah, and he just always was a hoot.
Do
He
you
was
remember
just
his breakdancing name?
no, I don't.
He made the mistake of telling me because I pulled pranks on him back and forth as well. His breakdancing moniker was Cosmic Glide.
Cosmic
It's,
Glide.
I'm like, Todd, that's the biggest mistake you ever made by telling me. So we like if we were practicing or playing and he made a mistake, I'm like, way to go, Glide,
He was something else, I tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so did y'all grow up together in Harrisburg
Yeah,
or okay.
yes.
Oh, that is great.
I,
And Larry, his dad, your uncle, he missed last year because he had some surgery, but
yeah,
he comes to this thing every year and it's just eats it up. Everybody loves Larry.
yeah, I know.
Larry coming this year?
I hope so.
I
I
think
think
so. I think
I
they are.
believe Melanie
Larry,
clicked
you
on the
better get
event
your
that she was
tail there,
going.
boy. I'm waiting on you.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be there probably.
Yeah, I think Melanie clicked that they were going.
Yeah,
So yeah, looking forward to that. We missed him last year a lot. He's the life of the party. So I see where Todd
yeah,
gets that personality from.
yeah. That's right. He got it
Yeah.
from his daddy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Now Larry's always there, and we get him on stage, and maybe after a couple of beers, and get him talking into the microphone, and we're like, "All right, Larry, give him the hook."
Yeah.
He'll sit there and talk all night if we let him.
Yeah, he would.
Man, it's not a
Yes.
sad. It's never a sad event. We talk a little bit about Todd and cancer and those things, but it's always just a big party. Just to remember them and just play play some good music and have everybody have a good time. And it's not a
Todd loved
somber
his
event at
music.
all.
He loved music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
I'm
sure did.
telling you, he did, and he was a good guitar player.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when he and I started off, it was me, Todd, and my friend Brian Houcham, who will also be there on the first. But at first, it was just the three of us, and they had guitar. Well, we were sitting around, and I'd like to say that we wanted to start a band because we're artists or whatever. But no, we're like, we got to find some girlfriend. We've all found ourselves without girlfriends. So we're like, well, what do we do? So what does most people do? Let's start a band. That'll get us some girlfriends. And so me and Brian and Todd all played, but I sucked the most out of the three of them. So I'm like, well, I got to do something else. So we had a drum machine, so I'd program that, and then I bought a bass and taught myself how to do that. And then I'd sing, play bass, run the drum machine, and then while those two would play guitar, I'm like, all right, eventually I want to play drums. I want to be in the back and kind of hide. But then we found another drummer. I'm like, well, crap. And I'm like, and then we found a bass player. it was on Todd. He turned over the bass. He was better than I was. So I'm like, well, I'm either going to sing or manage this thing. So I'm like, I think I'll be a manager. I'm like, nope, get up and sing. So that's how that came to be. And then Terry, I don't know if you knew this, that when I had to leave and moved here to Oklahoma, then Matt took over and they changed their name to the Getty. So me and Matt both played with Todd.
And you know what's crazy is I would go out and watch these guys. I was working it out by Steakhouse, man, and so some of the people there would go out and say, you got to come see Daisy Chain. I'm like, Daisy, what? And I didn't even watch local bands at the time. I was I'm gonna go to the show. I'm like, awesome, I love those guys.
Sitting right there,
man. Before I even knew who Todd was, and I was like rubbing elbows with Jimmy over there. He'd come in, and I'd be like, Jimmy, he was the coolest dude I knew, man. And he's out there rocking this band out. So don't let him fool you. He wasn't like some kind of slouch out there. He's a front man. I mean, he can get it, man. It was awesome. I loved it. And then Jimmy come in, and he was brilliant. He was this rock star, brilliant dude. He was super smart. You could have conversation with him. And he captivated people just by who he was. So the people wasn't hard to get along with, and everybody just had a wonderful time. It was cool, man. I loved it.
Yeah, no, love playing with Todd. He was always the heart of the band.
Yeah,
and he really was just the biggest grin on his face.
He had the biggest heart in the world.
Yeah, but yeah, if we were about to play that night, and somebody's tired or somebody doesn't feel so great, Todd just over there jumping around. Let's go. And so it was easy to draw inspiration from him. When you weren't feeling it, you kind of picked it up from him. And
that's right.
He'd go like that, jamming it with bass in his hand.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
One day when I started to do the Elvis thing, I had someone give me this Elvis mic, and I was like, I think I'll go see if I can get this fixed. Well, they had a music store right around the corner, and it was Sade Music. When I walked in the door, there was Todd, and he was working behind the counter, and he was like, hey, you're that guy that comes out to our shows? I'm like, hey, man, you're bass player guy, man. And he was like, yeah. I said, can you fix my mic? He's like, Jimmy's gone, and can you sing with us? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, so all in the same day, it was just a huge, crazy thing, man. And like, and it was Todd who kind of brought all that together. And it seemed like to me, outsider looking in, because you guys knew him for so long, but like Todd just got along there. But like Jimmy was saying, but it was like, it wasn't hard for him to find the next thing he was going to do either, because he was so gifted with like creativity and like I said, love of music, but like it's just talent was just swimming out of this dude, man.
God. Yeah, they got into computers and graphics, and then went to work for the city of doing graphic design and all kinds of stuff for them. Just a whiz at everything he picked up.
Is that where he worked at Chamber of Commerce?
Chamber, yeah. For some reason, Chamber wasn't coming to me, but yeah. So yeah, he would do all the graphic work and all kinds of stuff for them. He was just a whiz at that stuff. Just everything he did. You'd mentioned that you were going to Cartide now.
Yes.
Is that something you would want to discuss at all or feel comfortable?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
That's fine. I had breast cancer, and Cartide is where they sent me. I got it when we lived in Florida, and then surgery there and everything. But then when we come back here, they sent me to Cartide.
So there'd been a few times where our money went to an individual family who had a child there that was battling cancer, and we started looking at organizations as well, but ones that were very transparent with where the money went. And that's what I loved about Cartide. Is one of the bands that played a few years ago, his dad said, my wife works at this place called Cartide, and started telling me about them. I did a little research on them and found out that you can choose which department of Cartide that you want your fundraising to go to. And then one of the departments was the patient assistance, which is if patients are traveling from far off, and some people are driving 2 and 3 hours if there's not a location nearby, and so they need help with lodging or gas cards or those kind of things, because we don't want the financial part to be a burden. Just take care of your health, and just so you're able to focus on that. So we were really jazzed about that we know this department exactly where our money is going to, that we're not wasting our time and our effort, and that it's doing somebody some good. And so, so we decided to do it again this second year. And then you chimed in. I'm like, this is just the great universe telling us we're doing the right thing here.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't believe it's been 10 years, but we really found a good match with Cartide, because you know exactly where it's going.
Yeah.
You're in Searcy, is that correct?
Right. Searcy.
So is there, I think there's a car tied there, but do you have to travel to Little Rock or do you go to the one local?
I'll go to the one in Little Rock.
You do. Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to have to travel and
Right.
possibly have to have the lodging and all that stuff. So
Right.
you might receive direct benefit from what we're trying to do here. So
That,
that's
that's
it's
great.
strange how it works.
That is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just they keep a really good eye on you.
Good. Yeah, that early detection is
It's
so key.
it's key. That's
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
So is that what you would say? Like if someone's out there struggling right now and they're watching this video and or someone's out there trying to get their mind around what's happening to their family, what would you say to somebody to, hang on, give them some hope and, just to push on and fight this thing, that people have to deal with? What would you say to somebody who's dealing with cancer right now that you've been through and you've lost?
Oh, yeah, I say early detection is the key there. Just go get your mammograms and everything. And it's scary. I'm not going to lie. It's scary.
Yeah.
Probably have a good support system around you too.
Yeah.
Just friends and family. And
Yes.
sadly, one thing that I learned, and this is after, say, about from MO2, MOT3 up and through 7, I believe. That's when we gave that money directly to these families of these children that were diagnosed with cancer. And one thing that just broke my heart in hearing about it is some of the families say they had friends in their close family kind of abandon them, and not just out of meanness, but they didn't really know how to react,
Oh,
and offer support. So they just kind of backed off, and it just left some of these families just devastated. And in addition to what they're already going through with their child, being diagnosed, and then some friends and family just kind of leave them behind. And that's one thing that we're trying to do as well, is just, hey, there's a crowd of rowdy party goers here that are rooting you on, and we had a lot of those kids. We'd bring them up on stage, and
oh,
you give them, some gifts, and just introduce them, and just we give them a front row seat. And me and Matt, there's pictures of there. We getting the kids on stage while the bands are playing, and they've got their little headphones on, and we're dancing around with them. It just getting them involved, and then there's a whole crowd of people there just chanting their name and clapping for them. So just that kind of support, it seems like it really puts a
it,
smile on those families' faces.
Yeah.
and it matters a lot.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about Monsters of Todd altogether is that, even for the people that, like you're saying, I like that thought. It's like, some family members don't know how to handle it. So even if we can just be there for those guys and go like, hey, we know you're struggling too. You come out to Monsters of Todd, at least you're going to have one night where, maybe it's hard to get a babysitter, but if you can come out for the good cause, and then you find out there's a lot of people there that could have your back and like help you out, because we're dealing with it with you. We're right there walking with these guys. And that's a really cool thing about Monsters of Todd is like, and to have you on, Todd's aunt,
Yeah.
How close to home more can you get than that? And I'm so
Hey,
honored to be on a video chat with you, just
well,
his
that's
Me too.
heritage, and legacy. It's that's really cool. So it does feel like family, just us all getting on here. It kind of represents what we're trying to accomplish, at least, is like to let people know they're not alone and that they're loved, community and family and friends can support each other. Oh,
I know
It's
he's looking down, and just thinking, I can't believe they're making such a big deal out of me.
for the 10th year.
yeah.
And that's the thing is, if it was, I told Matt a long time ago, let's do this until the wheels fall off. If
That's
it's
right.
just me and you, if it's just me and you and a
Yeah.
6-pack in the garage telling
That-
Todd stories, let's do it. But just people keep coming out. Here we are. As a matter of fact, this show, March 1st, will be 11 years to the day since we had the very first one. That was
Wow.
March 1st, 2014.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah. 11 years to the night. And
Yeah.
like I said, COVID put a little stop in there with us, but yeah, train keeps rolling for 11 years now. War and religion or politics and all that stuff, nobody cares at this thing. Do you
No,
hate cancer and do you love music? And that's
that,
all that's required to get in.
that's right. You love music.
And it's so fun to do it. And just remember him, because there's still so many of these people that, these bands that did know Todd, either worked with them or through the band or through the military. We have a lot of military people that me and Todd were in the Air Force together, and a lot of military people that we worked with will be coming in from out of town. We've got one of my friends, Jim, is coming in from Buffalo, New York. he's flying in for this, and just
Wow.
people come from all around. That's how much he meant to them. And the military is a very tight family, but the music scene in Little Rock is very tight, which is just wonderful to see. It really is.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and that's another
it
cool thing
makes
about Monsters, Todd. People all over the music scene come to respect it. And if you're not there this year, you've been there. If you haven't been on stage this year, you've been on stage or you're gonna be on stage. 'Cause we're always looking for the next thing. The next thing's exciting people. So everybody gets to be a little bit part of it just through the stage, which I think Todd
yeah.
would love. Cool,
Well,
love
Terry,
it.
I'll give you an example that Todd's wife, Ginger, she taught there in Cabot, and she knew some of her students were kind of budding musicians, really starting to get into it. And Todd and Ginger would go out and watch them at their first shows, just supporting them and all that. And Todd would kind of give them some pointers on all those things. And just being a good mentor and just being a good music fan and kind of a teacher in that way. Well, at Monsters of Todd 2, Ginger messaged me and she said, "Hey, there's this young guys, and Todd mentored them. Would it be okay if they played?" I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." So these like 15-year-old kids. So we put them up on the stage, and I was like, "All right, we were gonna pat them on the head and tell them they were great." They blew the roof off of that place. There were other bands that were like, "Do I got to go on after that?" It was just. But they just wanted to play to honor Todd. Just he came out and supported their early shows and just gave them advice on equipment or stage techniques or just whatever it was. But they just wanted to pay respect to him, and they just tore the roof off that place. And the youngest guy, Peyton Collier, he is now in Nashville, like doing it. He was that 15-year-old kid, and now he's in Nashville right now. And
Good.
so just yeah, this we've I wouldn't say me and Matt have found talent. Talent found us,
Yeah.
and then we just put them on the stage, and they did what they did, and they're just doing great things. And for example, I mentioned the musician whose dad told us about Carti and all that. His name's Randall, and his name's Cord McCall, and this kid is an Eddie Van Halen replica. He's a prodigy,
Yeah,
and he's not going to be in little clubs for long. Somebody's going to pick him up, and he's going to be, because just note for note he can play Eddie Van Halen, and they've played it the last 2 or 3 years now. And it's just one of those things. Talent finds us. Like I said, I've been out of the Little Rock music scene except for this event, for 20 something years now. But I just hear about these people, and Little Rock has so much talent. But even more important, it's such a tight knit music community that the word gets around. Hey, you heard about this Monsters of Todd event, and so people start volunteering, and we just find this massive amounts of talent. So this is not just the local VFW, some guys plucking around. We have world-class musicians that are playing. And one of those, the headliner, is Drummer Boy Infinity, and they're doing a tribute to Sting and the Police. Well, he's got some other tribute acts that does a Queen tribute that sells out 1,000-seater places. Prince, Michael Jackson, they've got one coming up that they're doing a remake of The Wiz from Wizard of Oz, and just a Led Zeppelin tribute. It's just the production on these things. Yeah, this isn't the local VFW. This is high production, high quality stuff that these musicians bring to this, and it's just an incredible thing to see.
Well, I'm excited.
I am too. I'm a Police fan, but I'm also a Van Halen fan. We'll have that. I love AC/DC. Stage Fright is going to be doing this AC/DC tribute. Then we've got Stays in Vegas is doing a Nirvana tribute, and then Sharp Dunaway, they're doing his band Dirty Lindsay. They're doing a Poison tribute. So it's just going to be fun rock and roll night all night. So it's going to be a good time. I'm stoked about this one. But it was easy to go make it happen just when you're motivated by a guy that just is universally loved, like Todd.
Yes, he was loved.
I love it that we keep it in our memory. And it's not just like something forgotten. We're just thinking about it. And every once in a while we crack a beer, talk about him. It's every once in a while we get down and throw down with rock and roll and hang on each other's arms and hug each other, and cry and spit and and just love each other. I think that it's definitely a great place for us to memorialize Todd and love him and just keep
Yeah.
loving him. I
Yeah,
think
he wouldn't want anybody moping around.
yeah.
No, he wouldn't want anybody moping around. He want everybody
Yeah.
Yeah.
feeling really good.
Yeah, he was special that way. Like I said, if he could make instant friends, just walking up to somebody that kind of sitting in the corner, and next thing you know, yeah, they're talking about some obscure movie or some band that they both like, and next thing you know, they're like they're Vietnam vets or something,
Right.
just what they clicked over. That's how Todd and we clicked over, music and movies and comedy, just the things that we both found funny or interesting. Like I said, nowadays people seem so divided, and they just can't see past the big things, like, literally life and death and health and looking after each other. And
Right.
there's not enough of that anymore. So if we can inspire some folks to, hey, if those two guys can, drop their beefs with each other or whatever and get along for this new cause, then why can't everybody else? Just like, again, if you hate cancer and love rock and roll, welcome to the Rev Room. You're gonna have a good time.
Amen. There's our church. I love the Lord, but yeah, that's our church, So yeah, yeah. Well, all right. Well, thanks for taking your time with us, Terry. And we can't
Well, you're
wait to see you
welcome.
on March 1st at the Rev Room. And
Okay.
bring all your friends and get ready to have a little fun. We're gonna shake it and rock and roll for Todd.
Okay. We sure.
Jimmy, the best friend, and the founder of Monsters Todd, Presidente, and what a great-hearted guy. I've heard a lot of stories. You guys all hang out and stuff, and every one of them are good. So I'm so pleased and blessed to be a part of this, and you guys will be too. Come out to Monsters of Todd, and you see what it's all about. Become part of the family, and just get involved, man. There's not too little to do. It's just do something, and we appreciate everything. Even if you just come through the door and watch the show, that still helps out. So make sure you're there for Todd. Make sure you're there for each other, for all these bands, for the local scene, and for people fighting cancer. That's what we're really doing, is fighting cancer in the name of Todd. So thanks for coming out, guys. We'll see you there. All right, cool.